Hi guys, so far we have discussed about the power factor correction equipment as well as the most economical power factor. Now let's discuss about the second concept of this energy efficiency in electrical appliances, that is the energy efficient motors. As I already told you, this unit 4 consists of 3 modules. The first module is the efficiency improvement in the electrical appliances by means of power factor improvement, and second one is energy efficient motors, and the third module is demand side management. So we have so far successfully completed the first module, that is energy efficiency improvement in the industry, higher power factor improvement. Now let's start our second module, that is energy efficient motor. For studying the energy efficient motor, now first let us see what is an electric motor. So AC induction motor is the workhorse for the industry and accounts for a major share of the total use of electricity in the industrial sector. As we can clearly see it here, so we know that the induction motor is the workhorse for the industry. So almost 95% of the industrial loads are induction motor loads, and thereby it contributes to the major share of the load use of the electricity in industrial sector. So not only in industrial sector, in agricultural and commercial sectors also, the power consumption by AC induction motors is quite substantial. Therefore in all the sectors, be it be industrial sector, be it be commercial sector, be it be agricultural sector, in all these sectors the induction motor is the key equipment. Therefore on an average, the energy consumed by the motor during its life cycle is 60 to 100 times the initial cost of the motor. That is, say for example, the cost of the motor is 2000. You purchased it by paying 2000 money. The motor will be running for 10 to 20 years. So over this period of 20 years, per every year you are paying 2000 electricity bill. So for this 20 years, how much you are paying? 2000 into 20, which will be 40,000. But what is the cost of the motor you have purchased? 2000. So the cost of the motor is very negligible compared to the cost of the electricity bill that you are paying because of this motor during its life cycle. It will be more than 60 to 100 times the cost of the motor. Therefore, the efficiency of the motor is of paramount importance both during selection and operation. Why efficiency is important in this case? Because if the efficiency is more, what happens? The input will be less. Whenever the input is less, then the power consumption is less. So whenever the power consumption is less, the amount of charges that you are paying for the government in terms of energy charges will be less. Because if you choose a high efficient motor, the electricity bill will be less. So you have to run this motor for 10 to 20 years. So it's a quite long time. So during this time, if I have a high efficient motor, every year I can get a reduced electricity bill, right? So that is the reason why the efficiency of the motor is of paramount importance both during selection as well as the operation stages. Now let's see, what is an efficiency or a motor efficiency? For an electric motor, efficiency is the ratio of mechanical power delivered by the motor. For an electric motor, efficiency is the ratio of mechanical power delivered by the motor, that is the output, to the electrical power supplied to the motor, that is input. We all know that the input to the motor is electrical energy, whereas the output of the motor is mechanical energy. What is an efficiency? Output by input. So what is the output? Mechanical power output by electrical power input is nothing but the efficiency of an electric motor. As you can see in the figure, the output equal to input minus losses. Because of law of conservation of energy principle exists in a motor or applicable to motor, total energy input equal to total energy output plus losses. Thus, a motor that is 85% efficient converts 85% of the electrical input into mechanical energy. So the remaining 15% of the electrical energy is dissipated as heat, evidenced by a rise in the motor temperature. When you operate the motor, the temperature of the motor will rise. That we can clearly observe in our homes. And thereby, if a motor is 85% efficient, that is out of the 100% electrical energy which you are supplying to the motor, 85% of the electrical energy will be utilized for mechanical energy conversion, and the rest of the 15% losses, and these losses will dissipate in the form of heat in the motor. Right, now what is an energy efficient motor? You can clearly see it here. The energy efficient motors are the ones in which design improvements are incorporated specifically to increase operating efficiency over standard motors. In order to improve the efficiency of any standard motor, we need to do some design improvements. When you do such things, then obviously the losses in the motor will be reduced. So whenever the losses are reduced, then the output will be increased. So whenever the output is increased for a particular input, obviously the efficiency will be increased, right? Now, the energy efficient motors operate with efficiencies that are typically 4 to 6% higher than that of the standard motors for the same kilowatt or HP rating, right? So the efficiency of a standard conventional motors ranges from 75 to 88%, whereas the efficiency of the energy efficient motors EEM ranges from 80% to 95% for the same HP or kilowatt ratings. So the energy efficient electric motors utilized improved motor design and high quality materials to reduce the motor losses, thereby improving the motor efficiency. You can clearly observe it here. So we need to do two things. One is we need to improve the design specifications of a standard motor, as well as we need to use high quality material inside the motor. When you do these two things, the motor losses will be reduced. So whenever the motor losses are reduced for a given input, whenever the losses are reduced, then the output will be improved, and thereby the efficiency will be improved. Along with that, the improved design results in the less heat dissipation and reduced noise output. So because of this increased efficiency, there are two more advantages. So first one is because of the losses are reduced, the heat which is occurring in the motors because of these losses also will be reduced. So the less heat dissipation you will observe in the motors. One more thing, because of using the energy efficient motors and because of their improved design specifications, the noise which is coming from the motor also will reduce, and the motor will operate silently without any noise. You can see in the picture over here, it's an energy efficient motor. Here the input is 1000 units and the output is 940 units. And what is the losses? 1000 minus 940, which will be 60 units. So what is the efficiency now? Output by input, that is 940 units of mechanical energy by 1000 units of electrical energy into 100, which will be 94%. In the previous case, if it is standard motor, the efficiency is how much? We have seen 85%. That is, for an input of 1000 units, you are getting only 850 units of mechanical energy, and the remaining 150 units are dissipated in the form of heat in the previous example, in the previous slide. And thereby what is the efficiency? This 850 mechanical units by 1000 electrical units into 100, which will be 85%, and 15% is a heat dissipated in the motor. And because of the improved design and high quality materials used in the motor, and because of this the efficiency of the motor got improved to how much? 94%. How? The losses are reduced to 60 units from 150 units. So 80 units of the losses are reduced, and these 80 units will be added to the output, and thereby 850 became 940, and thereby the efficiency will be now 940 by 1000 into 100, which will be 94%. Now let's see it here. The average full load nominal efficiencies of standard as well as the energy efficient motors. We have already seen that the efficiency of a energy efficient motors will be 4 to 6% more than that of a standard motors of same kilowatt and HP ratings. Now let's see the table below. There is a standard motor of 1 HP. What is the efficiency of that? 75.5%. Whereas for the same 1 HP rating motor, if it is a energy efficient motor, the efficiency is 82.4%. Now let's see, for a standard motor of 1 HP rating, the efficiency is 75.5%. If the same 1 HP energy efficient motor is used, the efficiency which we will get is 82.6%. And similarly, for a 5 HP motor, if it is a standard motor, the efficiency is 82.8. If it is an energy efficient motor, then you are getting an efficiency of 88.6. If it is a 10 HP motor, the standard motor having an efficiency of 85.2%. Whereas if you take the same 10 HP energy efficient motor, the efficiency is 90.1%. If I take 25 HP standard motor, the efficiency will be 88.3%. For the same 20 HP energy efficient motor will give an efficiency of 92.8%. And similarly, 50 HP standard motor has an efficiency of 90.5%, whereas the same 50 HP energy efficient motor has an efficiency of 93.8%. And finally, let's take an example of 100 HP motor. If this 100 HP motor is a conventional motor or a standard motor, the efficiency will be around 91.8%. Whereas the efficiency of the energy efficient motor of the same 100 HP capacity is 94.7%. In each and every example here, you can clearly observe that the efficiency of the energy efficient motor is normally 4 to 6% more than that of the efficiency of a standard conventional motors. Now let's see. So what is the final outcome, or what is the final takeaway from the lecture so far? It's a simple thing. That is, in order to improve the energy efficiency, we need to do two things. One is we have to improve the design specifications, and number two, we have to use the high quality material inside the motor. When you do these two things, what happens? Obviously the motor losses will be reduced. So whenever the motor losses will be reduced, the output of the motor will be increased for the same input, and thereby the efficiency also will be improved. Now let us see what are the different kinds of losses that are there in the motors. Losses in the motor are broadly classified into two categories. Number one, fixed losses. Number two, variable losses. And the fixed losses are the losses which are independent of the motor loading. Even you load it or unload it, that is during either a full load or no load or any other load, these losses are fixed and they are not dependent on the motor loading. But variable losses, these are the losses that depends upon the motor loading. At no load, these values will be approximately 0. At full load, the value of these losses will be very high. At different loading, as the loading increases, the variable losses will increase. Fine. So the variable losses depends upon the current loading of the motor, whereas the fixed losses are independent of the current loading of the motor. Now what are these iron losses? The iron losses are further classified into two broad classifications. The first one is the iron losses, and second one is the friction and windage losses. And again, these iron losses are of two types: eddy current losses and hysteresis losses. And these variable losses are again classified into three broad classifications. That is the stator copper losses, rotor copper losses, and stray load losses. Now let's see how we can improve the energy efficiency, or how we can reduce the losses to get the energy efficiency improvement. So the loss distribution in electrical motors will be 55 to 60% of the total losses are stator and rotor copper losses, and 4 to 5% will be stray load losses. So the variable losses are in the range of 59 to 65%, which is a major share of the losses. Whereas the fixed losses, that is the iron loss, will account to 20 to 25%, and the friction and windage losses will account to 8 to 10%, and thereby the total fixed losses in the motor will be in the range of 28 to 35%, whereas the variable losses will be in the range of 59 to 65%. Now let us see how we can improve the efficiency, that is how we can reduce the power loss. Now you can see the significant loss in the motor is stator and rotor copper losses, that is I square or losses, which accounts to 50 to 55% of the total losses. So how we can reduce these losses? By improving two things. One is by using the quality material, and also by improving the design specifications. So use of more copper conductors in stator. In stator we have conductors, and we can use a high grade copper in place of a ordinary copper, as well as large rotor conductor bars in the rotor. That is, in the rotor, generally if it is squirrel cage rotor, we have a large squirrel cage bars, and these bars to use larger bars compared to the ones which we are using the standard motors. So when you do these two things, one is the improving the more copper conductors in stator, that is, so one is improving the more copper conductors in stator, that is improving the high quality material, and one more, and the other one is large rotor conductor bars, which is a design specification in the rotor. When you do these two things, what happens? The cross-sectional area of the stator windings and rotor conductors increases. So whenever the cross-sectional area increases, what happens? We know that the formula for resistance is rho L by A, where rho is a specific resistance, L is the length and A is the area of cross-section. Whenever the area of the cross-section got improved, what happens to the resistance? Decreases, because resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross-section. So whenever the area is improved, the resistance will decrease. So whenever the resistance decreases, the I square or losses will definitely decrease because of the reduction in the value of the resistance. So when you do these two things, the stator and rotor copper losses can be minimized. And second significant losses in the electrical motors or iron losses, which accounts to 20 to 25%. So how we can decrease these losses so that we can improve the efficiency? So the methods are use of thinner gauge, low loss core steel and materials with minimum flux density. So when you use these three kinds of materials or these three modifications in your existing standard motor, obviously the losses in the iron losses will be reduced. So what you have to do? You need to use thinner gauge, right? Thinner gauge. At the same time, you need to use low loss core steel and materials with minimum flux density. So the first one, use of thinner gauge is a design specification, whereas use of low loss core steel and materials with minimum flux density is a material property. So when you incorporate these two things in your standard motor, obviously the iron losses will reduce. And one more thing, longer stator and rotor core length and precise air gap between stator and rotor also decreases the iron losses. And one more way to decrease the iron losses is use of longer stator and rotor core length. At the same time, there should be a precise air gap between stator and rotor. When you do these two design things, then the motor efficiency will be improved because of reduction in the iron losses. Fine. So what are the material properties that we need to do in order to reduce the iron losses? We need to use low loss core steel and materials with minimum flux density. And what are the design specifications? We have to use thinner gauge, as well as we have to use long stator and rotor core lengths, as well as we should maintain a precise air gap between stator and rotor. These are the design specifications. So both the high quality material specifications and the design specifications are incorporated into a standard motor in order to reduce the iron losses. And the next significant loss in the electric motor is friction and windage losses, which account to 8 to 10%. So what we have to do in order to reduce these losses? So friction loss can be reduced by using improved lubricating system and high quality bearings. When I go for high quality bearings as well as the improved lubricating system, I could able to reduce the friction losses in the electric motor. At the same time, the windage losses can be reduced by using energy efficient fans. In the motor cross section, we will use fan. So if I go for the energy efficient fan, then I can able to reduce the windage losses. And the last significant loss in the electric motors is stray load losses, which account to 4 to 5% of the total losses. So how we can improve these losses? Use of optimum slot geometry and minimum overhang of stator conductors reduces the stray load losses. In order that the stray load losses should be minimum, we need to do two things. One is we need to optimize the slot geometry, as well as we need to minimize the overhang of stator conductors. When you do these two modifications to your existing standard motors, then the stray load losses will be decreased. So when you do all these modifications concerning two different losses, obviously the standard motor will going to become energy efficient motor by decreasing its losses and thereby improving its efficiency to more than 4 to 5% of the standard motor. Now let's discuss an important topic, that is loading versus efficiency. So in industry, motors are generally loaded between 40 to 60% of the rated capacity. Even though you take 2 HP motor, you are going to load it only to 1 HP. Even though you take a 2 HP motor, you will be loading it to up to 1 HP. Why? This is because normally motors are selected one size higher to accommodate higher starting loads as well as varying process requirements. Generally in our home, if I want an HP motor, generally I will never purchase a 1 HP motor, I will purchase 1.5 HP or 2 HP motor, keeping in mind the future requirements, right? At the same time, in the industries, at the beginning there will be a high starting loads, and this high starting loads, in order to withstand this high starting loads, generally the motor size will be chosen one size higher than the existing or required motor. The efficiency of the motor generally is proportional to the loading of the motor. As the loading increases, the efficiency also will increase. At no load, the efficiency is very less. At full load, the efficiency is very high. So as the loading on the motor increases, the efficiency will be increased. So you should always operate the motor at full load, not at the partial load or no load, right? So conventional motors operate in low efficiency zone when they are loaded less than 60% of the rated capacity. But the energy efficient motors loses their efficiency when they are loaded less than 50% of their rated capacity. If you take a normal conventional motor of 1 HP rating, if you operate it less than 0.6 HP, there will be a decrease in the efficiency. But in case of energy efficient motor, if you take a 1 HP motor, but if you operate it around 0.5 HP below, then there will be a loss in the efficiency, right? So the energy efficient motors are very sensitive to loading compared to conventional motors. However, the efficiency of the energy efficient motors is always higher than that of the conventional motors, irrespective of the loading. You can see the graph over here. On the x-axis you have the percentage loading, on the y-axis you have the efficiency. Let's draw the graph for conventional motors. So for a conventional motors, at 25%, 50%, 75% and 100% loading. 100% loading means full load. 25% means partial load. 50% is also partial load, and 75% is also a partial load. What about the energy efficient motor? You can see the efficiency of the energy efficient motor at each and every loadings. Whatever may be the loading of the motor, be it be 25%, be it be 50%, be it be 75%, or be it be 100%. At any of the loadings, the efficiency of the energy efficient motor will be higher than that of the conventional motor by an order of 4 to 5%. And one more observation is, as the loading of the motor increases, the efficiency of both the conventional motors as well as the energy efficient motors are improved. Fine. What are the advantages of this? What are the advantages of this energy efficient motors? Optimum efficiency, longer life, lower operating costs, better tolerance to electrical and thermal stresses, ability to operate at higher ambient temperatures, and ability to withstand abnormal operating conditions such as low voltage, high voltage and phase imbalance. All these are the different advantages of energy efficient motors. Now let's see this case study 1, which is the assessing the cost effectiveness of energy efficient motor. Now let's take a problem here. A 3.7 kilowatt 4-pole motor in frame ND112M standard motor. So a 3.7 kilowatt standard motor is having an efficiency of 85%, and this standard motor is going to be replaced with the same capacity energy efficient motor having an efficiency of 88.3%. You can see here the same 3.7 kilowatt motor. If it is a standard motor, its efficiency is 85%. If it is energy efficient motor, its efficiency is 3.7 kilowatt, 88.3%. So calculate the annual savings and payback period if the cost of energy efficient motor is 9,380 rupees and the cost of the standard motor is 7,215 rupees. And working hours of this motor is 16 hours per day, and number of working days in a year is 300, and the electricity charges are 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour. Now what is that they have asked? They have replaced the standard motor with the energy efficient motor, and now they are asking us to calculate the annual savings. What is the annual savings that we are going to get by replacing the standard motor with energy efficient motor? As well as we should also calculate the payback period. What is the payback period? We'll see now. Now what is an efficiency? Now first calculate the annual savings, the first bit. So what is an efficiency? Efficiency is nothing but power output by power input, right? If for the motor, what is the input? Electrical energy. What is the output? Mechanical energy. So 3.7 kilowatt means what is that energy? Output. That is the mechanical output. And you have the efficiency of 85% for a standard motor and 88.3% for a energy efficient motor. Now first we have to calculate the electrical power input. So what is the electrical power input from the efficiency equation? So electrical power input equal to mechanical power output by efficiency. So therefore the power input of a standard motor is given by the mechanical power output by efficiency of a standard motor. What is the mechanical power output? 3.7 kilowatt by What is the efficiency of a standard motor? 0.85. So 3.7 kilowatt by 0.85 will comes out to be 4.352 kilowatts is the power input to the standard motor. Fine. Now let's calculate the power input of energy efficient motor. So the power input of energy efficient motor will be given by mechanical power output by efficiency of the energy efficient. So 3.7 kilowatt by 0.883, that is 88.3%, or in other terms 0.883, and you are getting 4.19 kilowatt. So what is the saving in electrical power input? If I use a standard motor, the electrical power input is 4.352 kilowatt. But if I use a energy efficient motor, the power input is 4.19 kilowatt. What is the savings in electrical power input? 4.352 minus 4.19, which will be 0.162 kilowatt. So the energy efficient motor will operate at reduced power input, right? 0.162 kilowatt less than the standard motors. Right. So this 0.162 kilowatt is the saving in electrical power input. Now we have to calculate the annual energy savings. Right. So what are the annual energy savings? So 0.162 is the power, and power multiplied by time is nothing but the energy. So therefore 0.162 kilowatt is the annual saving in the power input. And what is the number of hours the motor is operating? 16 hours per day, and total operating hours are 300. So 300 days, and each day 16 hours. So therefore 300 into 16 into 0.162 kilowatt. It comes out to be 777.6 kilowatt hours. So this is the amount of electricity I am saving because of using the energy efficient motors. How much amount of kilowatt hours I am reducing? 777.6 kilowatt hours I could able to conserve while by using the energy efficient motors. And what is the cost of this saved energy? That is what is the annual cost savings? We already in the problem it is mentioned that the electricity charges are 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour. So how many kilowatt hours are saved? 777.6 kilowatt hours are saved, and for each and every unit the cost is 4.5 rupees. So what is the total cost or the annual total cost savings? 777.6 kilowatt hours into 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour, and thereby you will get 3,514 rupees. So the annual cost savings are 3,514 rupees, right? 3,514 rupees you are saving every year because of using the energy efficient motor in place of a standard motor in your home. Now let's calculate payback time. What is the payback time? Total investment by annual cost savings. Say for example, let's take an example. To understand the payback period, let me take this example. Now let's calculate the payback period. So what is payback period? Total investment by annual cost savings. What is the investment to purchase the energy efficient motor? It's given in the problem that the cost of the energy efficient motor is 9,380 rupees, whereas the cost of the standard motor is 7,215. The cost of the standard motor is less when compared to the cost of the energy efficient motor, right? So but we are using energy efficient motor in our home. The cost is 9,380 rupees. What is the annual cost savings you are getting per year? 3,514 rupees. That is, what is the payback period? So 9,380 is the total investment divided by annual cost savings are 3,514. So therefore 9,380 divided by 3,514, which comes out to be 2.67 years. So approximately 3 years. So whatever the amount you have invested in purchasing the energy efficient motor will come back to you within 3 years. You are using a standard motor. The cost of that motor is 7,250, say for example. But annual cost savings because of that inefficient standard motor is 0. After 3 years, if you run the standard motor for 3 years, you are losing how much amount of money? 3,514 into 3, approximately 10,500 rupees you are losing. You understand that? The life of the motor is how many years? 10 years. So in this 10 years, because of using the energy efficient motor, how much amount of money you can save? Per year 3,514. For 10 years you are saving around 35,140 rupees, right? If you have installed an energy inefficient standard motor in place of energy efficient motor, what is the profit you are getting? The profit you are getting is 7,215 rupees. The cost of that motor is 7,215, whereas the cost of the energy efficient motor is 9,380 rupees. So 9,380 minus 7,000, you are getting approximately 2,000 rupees at the beginning. But after that, this annual cost savings will never be there. So 35,000 you are losing in its overall lifetime because you are greedy for 2,000 at the beginning. If you can invest 2,000 more to purchase energy efficient motor in the span of 10 years, with that extra 2,000 you can be saved how much amount? 35,140 rupees. You can get savings in 10 years. You are putting an investment of 2,000 but you are getting a savings of 35,140 rupees in its lifetime. Now what is the payback period means? After 2.67 years, say 3 years, after 3 years, the cost of the motor is 9,380 and after 3 years you are getting the 10,500 rupees. So the cost of the motor is 9,380. So after 3 years, whatever you have kept for the motor, you got it now. And the remaining 7 years is a profit for you, and for the remaining 7 years it is a profit for you. You understand that? You have invested 9,380 rupees now. Every year you are getting a saving of 3,514. For 3 years you will get 10,500. So in 3 years you are receiving whatever is the investment you have kept towards the energy efficient motor. So the remaining 7 years, let us assume that the life of the motor is 10 years. In 3 years you are getting whatever you are kept on the motor, and the remaining 7 years is a profit for you. That is what is called payback period. In 3 years you are going to get whatever you have invested into it. In order to understand this, you have started a business. In that business you have kept 2 lakh rupees. So every year you are getting a profit of 50,000. In how many years you will get the actual amount which you have invested? 4 years. That is 2 lakhs by 50,000. 2 lakhs means total investment. What is the annual profit? 50,000. So 2 lakhs by 50,000 will be 4. That is 4 years. In 4 years you are going to get your investment. After 4 years, till the closure of that business, whatever you will get is a profit, because you already got your investment in 4 years. That is what is called a payback period. So in the same way, if you operate an energy efficient motor in 2.67 years, you are going to get whatever you have paid for the motor, and after 3 years, whatever is the savings, it will be your profit. Now let's see an example. Now we have already discussed that at the beginning of this lecture. We have discussed one small thing. What is that? That is, the energy cost of the motor will be 60 to 100 times than that of a initial cost of a motor. Now let's see this by means of this example. Now let's take a standard motor. In this case, the energy cost, I am giving a statement and then I will prove it. The energy cost for a 15 years usage of a standard motor at rupees 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour is staggering 14.1 lakhs as compared to the buying cost of 7,215. You can see the cost of your electrical standard motor is 7,250, right? But the energy bill which you are paying towards this motor usage in its lifetime of 15 years is 14 lakhs. Where is 7,000 your initial cost, and where is the energy cost you are paying for it? Total cost is equal to capital cost plus operating cost. So the actual cost is, or the fixed cost or the investment is 7,215 only, but the energy cost or the operating cost in this 15 years duration is 14 lakhs. How it will be? Let's calculate it. So the annual energy consumption. What is the annual energy consumption? So in order to calculate that, we need to calculate the power input of the motor multiplied by the number of operating hours. What is the power input of a motor? The power input of a motor will be given by the power output divided by the efficiency. Let's take a case of a standard motor. The mechanical power output is 3.7 kilowatt and the efficiency of a standard motor is 0.85. Now you got the 4.325 kilowatts is your annual power consumption multiplied by time. What is the operating hour of this motor? 16 hours a day for 300 days. So you will get 20,894 kilowatt hours. It is for 1 year, right? So what is the annual energy cost now? These many kilowatt hours are consumed by the motor and cost of each kilowatt hour is 4.5 rupees. So you are getting 94,023 rupees. It is for 1 year. For 1 year you are paying the electricity bill of 94,000, right, for a motor which you have purchased it for 7,250. Now during its lifetime of 15 years, what is the energy cost of the motor? 94,023 into 15, which will be 14.10 lakhs. But what is the cost of a standard motor? 7,215 rupees. Your investment is 7,215 rupees, your initial cost, but the energy cost which you are paying for the motor is 14.10 lakhs. This validate our statement. The same is true for energy efficient motor as well. Now I am giving a state. The energy cost for a 15 years usage at a rate of 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour is staggering 3.57 lakhs as compared to buying cost of 9,380 rupees. The same way, now let's calculate how you will get this 15.57 lakhs. So the annual energy consumption will be annual power consumption multiplied by the operating hours of the motor. Annual power consumption we will get by dividing the mechanical power output by efficiency. That is 3.7 kilowatt by 0.883. That is 4.16 kilowatt into 16 hours per day for 300 days. And you will get 20,133 kilowatt hours. And what is the cost of the energy consumption? That is 20,113 kilowatt hours, and cost of each unit is 4.5 rupees, and you will get 90,508 rupees for 15 years, and this cost will be 13.57 lakhs. So what is the cost of standard motor? 9,380 rupees. The statement is valid for both standard motor and energy efficient motor. Fine. That is, the cost of the motor is negligible compared to the energy cost in its lifetime. Now let's take the second case study. Now let's assess the cost effectiveness of industry. In the case study 1, we have seen it for a home. Now we'll talk in terms of an industry. So in a textile industry, 30 numbers of 15 kilowatt conventional ring frame motors having an efficiency of 85% are operated on a continuous basis. There is a textile industry, and in that textile industry they are using 15 kilowatt standard motors which is having an efficiency of 85% continuous, and these motors were rewound more than 5 times. So the problem with the motors is the motor's winding will be damaged after long operations, and when the motor windings got damaged, you can rewind it. That you can do only up to 5 times. If you can do more than 5 times, then the motor will not give the proper output, and thereby you need to replace it after 5 times motor winding. So the motors were rewounded more than 5 times. So all these 30 motors are age-old motors and they have already spoiled. Now the plant team replaced all the existing 30 motors with 15 kilowatt energy efficient motors having an efficiency of 92%. Now instead of a standard motors, now the plant team is now replaced all those obsolete 30 number of 15 kilowatt motors with 30 numbers of 15 kilowatt energy efficient motors which is having an efficiency of 92%. Now what is that they are asking us to calculate? Now calculate the annual savings for 30 motors and payback period. If the cost of each energy efficient motor is 30,000 and power rate is rupees 10 per kilowatt, you can see the cost of 3.7 kilowatt motor is 9,000, whereas the cost of 15 kilowatt motor is 30,000. At the same time, the power rate in case of a residential or our home purpose is 4.5 rupees per kilowatt hour, but in case of an industry, the cost of the power is 10 rupees per kilowatt. For 1 unit, they have to pay 10 rupees. Now let's calculate the first bit, that is annual savings. Same way, efficiency equal to mechanical power output by electrical power input. Now we have to calculate the electrical power input of standard motor. So how can we calculate the electrical power input of standard motor? By dividing the mechanical power output of the standard motor with the efficiency of a standard motor. What is the mechanical power output of a motor? 15 kilowatt. And what is the efficiency of a standard motor given in the problem? 85%, that is 0.85. Now 15 kilowatt by 0.85 will come at around 17.65 kilowatt is the power input of a standard motor. So the power output, now let's calculate the power input of an energy efficient motor. So the electrical power input of an energy efficient motor will be obtained by dividing the mechanical power output by the efficiency of a energy efficient motor. So the mechanical power output will be 15 kilowatt, same, whereas the efficiency is 92% or 0.92, and you are getting 16.30 kilowatt. And what is the annual electrical power input saving? So what is the saving in electrical power input, which will be 17.65 kilowatt minus 16.30 kilowatt, that is 1.35 kilowatt you are saving. In the previous case study 1, you have saved 0.16 kilowatt, but in this case you are seeing a saving of 1.35 kilowatt by using the energy efficient motors in place of standard motors. Now let's calculate the energy savings annually for 30 motors. For one motor 1.35 kilowatt. For 30 motors, 30 into 1.35 kilowatt is the power saving. And what is the operating hours? Again 16 hours a day and 300 days of operation, and you will get 1,94,400 kilowatt hours. So the energy which you have saved because of using energy efficient motors in the textile industry is come around 1.944 lakh kilowatt hour. Now what is the reduced annual savings associated with this energy saving? So annual cost savings for 30 motor will be 1,94,400 kilowatt hours are saved, and for each and every kilowatt hour I am paying 10 rupees. So 19,44,000 rupees I have saved because of using energy efficient motors in the industry. I am saving how much amount? 19,44,000 rupees. 19,44,000 rupees. Now let's calculate the payback period. What is the payback period? Total investment by annual cost savings. What is the investment to purchase the energy efficient motors? Each motor 30,000. So there are 30 motors. So 30 into 30,000 will be 9 lakhs. So you can see it here. How much investment I have made to purchase the energy efficient motors? Only 9 lakhs. But what is the annual cost savings I got? 19.44 lakhs. Right. So what is the payback period? Total investment is 9 lakhs. And what is the total cost savings? 19,44,000. So it will be approximately 0.5 years. It's 0.46 and you can approximate it to 0.46 years. 0.46 years means 6 months. Within 6 months you will get your investment, and after that whatever is the saving you are getting on the motors is a complete profit. So by using these energy efficient motors, this is a major advantage.